Vaya bus service in Johannesburg has suspended its operations indefinitely following a labour dispute. Drivers are said to have blocked the entrance to the service's depot when they reported to work this morning. In a statement earlier, the bus service apologised to their commuters and urged them to use alternative transport. It's unclear what the dispute is all about, but it's believed to be related to December bonuses. Just last month, the Johannesburg High Court, placed Trans, the company that operates the service, under business rescue. It followed allegations of mismanagement and maladministration that brought it to the brink of collapse. Now, business rescue practitioner and specialist forensic auditor Mahier Tayob joins me now live. A very good morning to you. Thank you so much for your time. Commuters were left incredibly frustrated this morning as Rea Vaya passengers were left stranded. What is your immediate reaction?
Good morning. Good morning to you and to your listeners. If you remember and if you recall, in some of the interviews, I did say that sabotage would be a real threat to Trans, and that's exactly what it transpired. Now, this is really a bizarre situation, and I'll tell you why. Firstly, the 13th check or the bonus is ring-fenced. But notwithstanding that, I made the determination to pay the employees, and this was communicated to the employees, and this was also communicated to the unions. I proposed that the 13th check be divided into two payments, one being on Monday, 50%, and the 50% by the 31st of January. Now, there's a reason behind that. Number one, I'm not even in possession of the company bank account as yet. There is a migration process that takes place. And this migration process is expected to be concluded by the end of this week. So once I'm in possession of the bank account, I will be able to pay the first 50%. The second 50% obviously is when Trans has the cash flow, the necessary cash flow, to pay the second amount. And that is the reason why I proposed the two-part payment. The unions nor the employees contacted me any further, barring going on this unprotected strike. But it becomes a little bit more bizarre, as I said earlier, because 15 minutes ago, I received a call from one of the employees stating that there was an additional grievance, and that is that I should not tax the 13th check. Now, the 13th check has to be taxed. It's statutory. There's a statutory payment. We are governed by the Tax Administration Act, which only brings to the forefront the maladministration at Trans previously, that payments were made without taxation. They've even asked for it to be paid in cash, which I will never accede to, never. The amount will be taxed like everyone else pays taxes. It will be taxes will be deducted. But before it goes further than that, because I started implementing systems, this is one of the reasons. I've called out employees who've been signing logs when they were actually not at work or not for the full duration, where I've uncovered dismal performances. For example, no stock records or stock purchase and cannot be presented when required. So all of this, because of the systems that are being implemented, there will be hostility. However, I did inform the employees this morning that their strike is unprotected. I've given them up till 8:30 this morning to proceed back to work, failing which I will proceed to court on a super urgent basis. I've got to protect the rights of Trans and the commuters. So they've got until 8:30 this morning in which to report back to work and to cease this unlawful strike. And I have engaged with attorneys already if they do not comply with this request.
You say that sabotage is a real threat. As we try and get to the bottom of the reasons behind this strike action we're seeing this morning, you talk about how the payments were broken down. When Trans has the cash flow, you will then ensure that the second part of the payment is committed to, which doesn't sound promising. Do you think that perhaps on your end it may have been a communication breakdown, that you didn't communicate effectively?
So we've set up a communication group And all of the communication flows through there, and there is communication from the employees as well. We are communicating effectively with the unions as well as the employees, where there is proper interaction as well.
So, you've said very firmly that come 8:30, should operations not return to normal, there will be some repercussions. What sort of communication are you receiving on the ground from the employees?
As I said, the only further communication that came in subsequent to that was that the 13th check not be taxed. So now it was no longer about the split payment, but rather the taxation on the payment.
As you talk about sabotage, what motive do you think could be behind it? Because you say it's a real threat.
There's always going to be sabotage, because clearly some of the employees, and I don't say all, do not want a change. Some of the employees have got accustomed to working lesser hours without accountability. And we must accept that this was the culture at Payutrans. You now have a new sheriff on board that's demanding accountability. It is expected that some of the employees would retaliate. Now, Payutrans themselves are overstaffed. Notwithstanding that, I did not proceed on the basis of attrition. I was hoping to build up the buses so that I could accommodate all of the drivers. Yesterday I had a meeting with men, for example. Even their numbers prove that we are overstaffed. But not, like I said, notwithstanding that, I said we will keep the employees. I would want to build up the buses. Job creation is important in South Africa. The closest link to business rescue is the Labour Relations Act. So I am trying to maintain a staff complement that is far higher than what is required. But it is achievable as long as I have the buy-in of all the participants.
Mm-hmm. And since you've taken over as the operator, we know that the Rea Vaya board has since been dissolved. What's the future there? What processes are you following to ensure that there is a board?
So I have appointed 2 individuals to assist me until the 10th of January to assist me with information gathering within the board. Because if you address the board themselves, it's dysfunctional. There are no proper resolutions. There are no, even if there are resolutions, there's no implementation of those resolutions. So the board for now will remain dissolved until such time as I'm able to create a proper interim board. Not only that, I've also dissolved the management now, because the management was equally dysfunctional. Mm-hmm. And that management deals directly with operations. It's in a dismal state, worse than what I anticipated when I took on the engagement. But it is still fixable.
Yeah. Very well. Thank you so much for your time there. Of course, getting an update very briefly on the state of Rea Vaya passengers being left stranded this morning. And, of course, an ultimatum sent out by Mahier Tayob, who's taken over as the operator, saying that they have until 8:30 to stop the strike action, or else there will be further repercussions. We will be continuing to monitor that developing story throughout the course of the morning.